Hello everyone, it's Rachel here at Clarty Hands Crafts, and in today's video I am going to be making some junk journal toppers to go on the front of a junk journal's cover. And I saw this idea on Artie Mazer's channel, and it's just basically following her process for how she did it, so I thought I'd give it a try, and then I might as well switch the camera on while I go for it. So she started off, obviously I might veer off and do something a bit different, but she started off with a piece of embossed paper and she shredded the edges. So I just need to find my little distresser, and I'm going to use a pair of scissors to just cut the edge down. So I cut this while it was in the embossing folder, so I'm just going to take away those flat edges by trimming them off with the scissors. And I'm not too concerned about doing it freehand because I'm going to ruffle them all up. This is quite difficult to do on paper rather than card because there isn't much resistance. And I think what I'll do is, instead of using my usual Tim Holtz vintage photo ink, I'm going to be using a darker one. Because I want to make my next journal, although it's going to be shabby chic and floral, I do want it to be quite grungy. I'm going to do two toppers for you today, or with you. I don't even know if I'm doing this right, really. Should probably watch a video at some point to see how you're supposed to really do it. So I'm using the seal brown from Spectrum Noir. Okay, and I'm just going to go around the edges and add some of that grungy dark brown to those. So the embossing is picking up the darkness as well. So I don't want to go overboard with it. Something like that should do. And then she did some layering, and I'm using this paper kit, which is from the Journal Boat, I think it was called. And these are, I had a couple of sheets left that well, they were the experiment sheets that I printed off first. So I'm just going to tear a nice long strip out of one of those. And then I'm going to put that down one side. Again, I'm just going to ink up those edges, but I'm not taking the ink too far in. It's just literally giving it a nice shadow at the edge. Excuse my voice today, everyone. I have a cold once again for the third time in 2 months. It's starting to annoy me now. Right, now I'm going to stick that down there with some wet glue. I cleared out my little caddy that's got all of my crafting supplies in yesterday. I had been meaning to do that for absolutely ages, and I was bored last night, so I finally got around to organising it, and now I can find things much more easily. At least in theory I can. Well, plenty of glue to hold that down on those bumpy textured I was going to say edges, but it's not the edges, it's the top, the surface, the bumpy textured surface. Stick that down on there, and then at the other side I'm going to use some music sheet. So I want that to be a different length. make that shorter, and I'm going to have that somewhere around there. I love tearing this stuff, it's really satisfying. And that looks like it'll fit pretty perfectly down there. Let's just stick that corner down because it's going to keep catching on things, isn't it? Try and wipe that glue away, and this one as well. I've got some bits and bobs that I want to make a little layered cluster with. I'll just pull out the other things that I know that I'm going to need. That'll do for now. So I've got this little girl which came in a paper pad. It's the paper pad that I've been using a lot lately, which I can't really remember the name of it at this present moment. If you want to know, let me know in the comments and I'll find it for you. But it just had loads of little photographs and pieces of ephemera like this inside. Okay, so I was going to layer those behind the photograph, like something like that. So if I put my nail there, then I know that I can glue down that area, and then this won't matter so much about catching the edges. We'll just pop it on like that. As long as there's something tacking it together, then we're good. There we go. So she looks nice there. And then what I think I'm going to do now is just add a little stitch around the edge to give it some more texture and a little more depth as well. And then I'm going to put this behind, but I think I just want to cut that in half and have something like this. In fact, I'll do that now, there's no reason to wait. And then that piece can be used for something else. Then I want to make that one, do I want it straight or just kind of peeking up behind? I think having it straight there is going to work for me. That was left-handed, that's why that was so weird. Oh no, that's not what I was supposed to do. I don't know why I've done it at that angle. There, that looks better, doesn't it? Where it's kind of straight but behind. That's what we're looking for. We want it straight with her. And then that makes it look more organised. Yeah, that's better. I knew there was a way that, like, that needed to be straight on, but I couldn't figure out how. Okay, so I'm going to stitch around her now. So I've stitched around there just to give that an extra border, and oh, just prick myself with a needle. I'm happy to say that that stitching has gone straighter than it was before when I was doing some stitching earlier, and I think it was just a simple matter of having not threaded it properly. I rethreaded it and it seems to have solved the problem. Right, so I'm thinking we'll have her in the centre, well, upper centre, and then we're going to add some lace. Now this is the technique that I really wanted to learn from Andrea. I'm sure her name's Andrea. She always layers lots of lace in her projects, and it always looks so good, and then when I do it I just think it looks a bit bad. But I am determined to add a lot more to my journals and make them a bit more over the top and fancy, really, because that's the ones I like to look at, and I tend to make everything very plain. So we're going to layer some lace, starting with like a thicker one at the bottom, and sorry, not a thick, like a wider one, and then a thicker one over the top, and then maybe a tiny one over that to just add a bit of extra decoration. Now what I'm wondering whether to do is whether to stitch a row of stitching along so that I can drawstring it and make it pucker up nicely so that I can curve it around that bit. So I've added some gathers. I've got my glue gun warming up beside me. So this is what I meant by doing a row of stitching. I should have done it in a better colour really, but if we gather it up like that, then it means that I can make the lace curve around to somewhere that looks good. And that can be just manipulated into the right position. There, right, so I'm going to start by sticking that first one down. I want it somewhere around there, just using a glue gun. Unfortunately the cable isn't very good, it isn't very long rather. So it's trying to spring back to where it came from. I'm going to take those threads at the edges and trim them down. I might see if I can take them off afterwards. And then I want my paper bit gluing on afterwards. I'm going to use the glue gun again so that it's a bit more 3D and it's got more chance of sticking over the top of that lace. So now I'm going to do a second layer with this cotton stuff. Pull on the thread to gather it up. Just trying not to get overwhelmed with threads. Then we can stretch that one out a bit further. And I'm going to try and make those edges meet up with where the image begins. So if I just follow that round, somewhere around there. Work quick before it dries. Great. And I don't mind having some tatty threads peeking out in places. I do mind threads of glue though, so let's get rid of that. Okay. And then I was going to do this one next, which is already curved after stitching. Actually, I think I might remove that, might I? And then I'm going to take that across that gap and take it to the outer edge. So I might add a couple of puckers in there. There, let's line that up with that bit of edge. There, that's quite interesting, isn't it? Just gonna try and follow that line a bit more, so that it looks like it's supposed to be there. Right, and do I need something up the top, do I think? Like another little piece of lace or something like that. I've got that left from the small piece rather. I think we'll just stick that little tuft up there to balance it out a bit more. Wonderful. Okay, so I really like the way that looks so far. Maybe I would add a little bit of stitching just to anchor these down. In fact, I might do that now, and I'm just going to do a straight stitch down here and down here. There, and now you can see those look a bit more finished just for having those layers of stitching and anchoring those pieces of lace down. Okay, so I love that. What a good idea. I've got another one that I can try. So I've got this lady here, and I'm going to be working on some more pastel kind of colours, still with a shabby chic theme, but these are the bits that I've got out ready. So we're going for like a paler background with some bits of white in, and plenty of pinks as well. This is the only background I had, which was floral. It's quite a modern looking one, but I'm just hoping that enough of it is going to be covered that you won't really notice that it looks more kind of 60s and 70s, doesn't it, with those flower power flowers. I'm still going to rough up those edges, and then once again use that darker ink to do all of the edging. So I finally reached 1,000 subscribers. Thank you very much for all of the support, everybody. I still don't have enough watch hours, but I'll just work on that, plod on, and hopefully I'll reach the 4,000 watch hours eventually. I did get closer last year, but a certain thing elapsed. There was a point in time when I had a lot of views on one video, and it's been a year since that time, so now that no longer counts all of those views that I got. So I'm just carrying on and hoping that one day I will manage to get 4,000 watch hours. It's all very complicated. It didn't used to be that difficult to get monetized on YouTube. I think it would just automatically monetize from the start. And my little channel, which only had about 20 subscribers or something like that, earned 56 pence. So in my AdSense account, there was 56 pence, which I haven't been able to claim into my bank account because the minimum cut-off is something like £60. So I'm determined to get my 56 pence back. I've done that a bit too dark, haven't I? Never mind. I should have just done the edges, but you live and learn. Covered in glue gun glue. Okay, so we're going to take some of this and I'm going to go through the middle. I would like to have some of that flowery stuff in the middle. There we go. It might still look a bit too dark. I think I might regret using this darker one with the paler colour theme, you know. I thought it would look good as being grungy, but maybe not. But we'll see how it goes. We've started, so we'll finish. Again, this was just from one of the extra sheets that I had printed when I was checking to see what it was like. This is another one from the journal boat. Different kit. So I've already inked the edges of this, and then I was going to layer those in the same way that I did the others, like that. Make kind of a little fan. Let's round those corner edges. I didn't do that very well, did I? It's a good job that bit will be hidden. So she can go on there like that, and you can still see that there is a flower behind her. This image came from a charity shop haul that my auntie got for me. She spotted a load of things and said, "Do you want these?" And I said, "I sure do." And there was some, what do you call them, decoupage pictures. That was one of them. It does look slightly distorted, her chin, I'm not sure is where it should be. It's good enough for what we're doing right now. So layer those on top. And I'll do some music paper on this one as well. I don't want the word dustman on there because she's far from a dustman, isn't she? Oops, took the edge with me. Pop that over there. Love it. And then I think we'll have those angled ones overlapping, and we'll keep her quite straight with that edge, so it's parallel. And once again we're going to add some lace, and this time I've got some white colours. I think I'll cut a triangle out or rather a quarter of this doily. I got this from a car boot sale. Car boot sale is great for this kind of thing. Do you have car boot sales in America? I don't know. Right, and I think we can take some of that fabric bulk off, can't we? Because that's just adding unnecessary weight and bulk. So we've already got the curve, so we won't need to do the drawstring thing with that. So I'm going to put that behind somewhere around there, I think. Let's just go for it. Oops. Ow, it's hot. Silly me. Right, we'll stick that into position now. I've done it again, I stuck my fingers in it. Then I've got this other lace, which can go over. And then this time instead of stitching and using the drawstring, I'm just going to kind of scrunch it to where I want it. Better get another glue stick out to push the rest through. And then I'm going to go right round from that side all the way down to the bottom corner. I'm going to allow it to ripple. Try not to burn myself again. There. And then I can trim that excess. And then I'm just going to follow that curve round to make it look like it's finished there on purpose. That one can go over to one side. Oh, these bits drive me mad. Go on, get off. It's like walking into spider webs. And what else have I got? This is a nice vintage broderie anglaise. And I was thinking maybe some kind of ruffle here would look nice to fill in that gap. Okay, I think I'm going to have to do my sewing machine thing and make a gather. If I try and evenly distribute those gathers, it's going to look a bit nicer. We could just finish right at that edge, fill that gap. Right, I've gone over there, so I'm just going to cut that bit off. And then those threads need to come off as well. That's it. And then I think we could just do with a bit more white up here, so maybe, do we need anything that big? Just a little section there maybe. Oh, I forgot that I'd cut this little piece out. So it's kind of like a, oh, I forgot what you call them now. You know, where you cut them out of lace to stick on things. I can't think of what it is. Never mind, ignore me. Right, I'm going to put that up there. But if I remember rightly, in my trolley there was a random pink brad. Where was it? It might be a bit too jazzy. Let's try it. I'm going to put that through the middle. Make sure I get it the right way around. Just try and get it between the stitching. Spread the pins at the back. Oh dear, they're all twisted out of shape. How's that happened? I just don't want it to end up cutting anybody, that's all. What do you think? I'm just going to go for it. I'm sorry about that. The battery died on my camera, so we're several hours later now, but I attached that. I don't know if you saw that. I just put the brad through the... I still can't remember what you call those. No, the word isn't coming to me, but I put the brad through it anyway, and then just stuck that down to balance out this like white fabric-y kind of look. So I've just got here the you know, my net curtain, which I talk about all the time, because this is what I'm planning to have in the background of my journal cover. So just to give you an idea of how that's going to look. So if you can imagine, it would all be white lace and then this layered on top of the journal cover. So yeah, that's it basically. So we've got the two toppers there. I'm not sure what I'll be doing with this one. I might introduce some Hessian type material, or I might do it on the lace, because now seeing that still looks quite nice. I'm starting to lose my voice, so sorry, but I just wanted to give you a last look at both of those that I did today. So there we have it. Thank you very much to Andrea at Arty Maze for the inspiration, and I will definitely be doing things like this again. And I'm really happy that I've managed to do something a bit busier than my normal kind of style. So I'll see you again next time, everyone. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.